Hello, you viewers. This is Terry in Houston, Texas, and we're going to try this live thing out one more time. I did another one a couple of days ago and didn't post properly. I think a couple of guys saw it. But what we're talking about today is a follow up on the fiberglass cowling that I have made for Tango Alpha 1. Now, if you recall, when I posted the last video, one of my concerns was the top view and the bottom view of the cowling. The front of the airplane tapered from the instrument panel towards the firewall, and my initial plug, which I didn't really catch on to this until some time into it, and the plug was already made, but it's still sitting over here on the back of the truck, and you can kind of see that it did not taper really from the firewall towards the front. So when we put it on the airplane, the profile, meaning the side view, looked nice, but I wasn't real happy with the top view and the bottom view. I really wanted to have that taper. So I told you guys about putting a V in it and just kind of separating the cowling. And this is what I've been working on. And I since I already had the cowling split horizontally like this, I went ahead and cut a small V out of this one just so that the profile view will actually taper a little bit more in on the bottom. And I've already glassed that in on the inside. It's got one layer just holding it in place. And let's see if you can kind of, I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's a seam right there. And there's also a seam here. Now up on top, I have not put any glass on this section yet because I've split the canopy now down the middle. Canopy, I said canopy, cowling. I've split the cowling down the middle. And what I did is I basically used, if you guys remember back last year when I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do my cowling, I played around with this foam board, and I actually used a straight edge, much like that one over there. You see it, whoop, right there, and I taped that to the side of the airplane. So this one here more accurately shows the angle of the Affordaplane from the firewall up to the nose. So I use that kind of as a template and measured and found out I needed to take approximately 3 inches out of the center of this thing. So what I've done is I've cut right down the center, what was used to be the center, and split the thing, and I just left it attached at the very bottom. So there's probably a 1/4 inch of glass that hasn't been cut at the very bottom right there. And also, since this nose looked very, very nice, it's got some nice curves to it, and that's part of the appeal to the design. I didn't want to have to cut through it, so I cut it out. And now, once I get all of these lines just the way I want them, then that right there gets to go right back in place. It does not change my circle where the prop hub is. And once it's all in place, you can see that we still maintain the curves and the contours where the prop is. So I am getting ready to, in just a little bit, going to cut down the center to take this excess out. I have been using my aluminum tape, which is basically air conditioning tape, to help because it secures really well. And generally what I do is I just tape it on the outside like this, and it allows me to flip the thing around and work it on the inside, and it holds everything together where I want it. Now additionally, I can use some of this flat steel here and put it inside, and then use my big 25-pound weight to kind of hold things down. But I wanted to give you guys an update on how the taper of the cowling is coming. I am much more satisfied with the way this thing is looking. I think once I've finished this process and we've got everything taped up, we will come in and do some Bondo work, and this thing is going to look beautiful. Um, you might notice the spinner. The spinner was on Tango Alpha 1 for about a month or so, and this was given to me by my landlord, Mr. Kavanaugh, and it didn't quite fit the propeller, so I made some custom cutouts and stuff so that it would fit around the power fin propeller, and it looked great. It worked for a while. One thing I learned here is anytime we're doing like a corner or something, you really need to put like a relief or a circle or a curve or something. You know, I probably knew better than that, but didn't think about it at the time. And I'm going to show you exactly what happened. This is the worst. Now, if you see right there, there's a crack on this side and this side where I did not relieve these corners. And I'm a little hesitant. I may be able to have that repaired, but I'm a little hesitant to put that back on the airplane. However, I got to thinking, that sure looks like an awful nice plug. And I have more fiberglass. So that may be the next project right there, is to make a fiberglass spinner. And we could still use the base. The base is nothing wrong with it. We might, I don't know, maybe we need to make it a little smaller. It doesn't quite fit that cowling. But if we do a little metal work on the base, or maybe even fabricate a new base, maybe we just use the top portion of the spinner right about here and allow it to match, and then it'll just bolt to the front of the airplane rather than the back of the, I'm sorry, the front of the propeller hub rather than the back of the propeller hub. Kind of like the one I had that I sold to the fella up in Pennsylvania. That was made for, I think, a CSC prop. Looked like it would have been a great... Sorry, guys. Looked like it might have been a great fit for my airplane, but the propeller dimensions were just a little bit different. So, anyway, that's basically what we're doing. We're using, that particular foam core thing that I built last year, and we're using the angles and everything to modify this one. And so now whenever we get that one back on, all the angles should be a lot more true from the instrument panel all the way up to the prop. But I'm going to get back to work, guys, and I'll do another video as I go through. I know some of you guys are interested in this, and I haven't detailed everything about it, but I have been posting some pictures, and I hope that you guys can kind of gather what's going on. I did post those other pictures of the framework and whatnot. For those of you that have commented about the cowling maybe causing overheating, I want y'all to remember that this airplane is never run with a cowling. There is no second engine. My engine is off for repair, and it is almost to the point to where I should be getting it back soon. The last thing I heard is they were waiting on the cylinders to come back from Matt at RPE, and he's got everything else. He'll be able to send it back to me. But remember, we have not run the engine since it's been rebuilt. We don't even have it back yet. So I appreciate the comments about the overheating issues, but that's old hat, old news, and the cowling has nothing to do with those overheating issues we had because the airplane didn't have a cowling back then. But anyway, guys, I will get back with you later as I make more progress. For now, everybody have a nice evening, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.